Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm hanging out in my car, just waiting for something to dry. I had a comforter that I wanted to go ahead and wash and dry in one of these big boy washers and dryers at the laundromat. So I'm kind of hanging out here waiting for my stuff to dry, and just want to have a little chat about, I was listening to one of the fitness influencers, and I'm not going to say his name, but I got kind of offended by what he was saying. And I said, you know what? This is a good topic to discuss. He was talking about the reason why people are fat or overweight. He put it out there that the reason why people are fat or overweight is because they're just huge, big gluttons. And I thought that's not true. I mean, there are so many situations where maybe people are physically disabled, or maybe they just don't have the knowledge and they're eating a high fat diet, or maybe there's something wrong with them, like maybe their thyroid or is really slow, or they're anemic and they, just have no energy, just fatigue and not able to get out and exercise. It doesn't always mean that you're just this big, huge glutton, a person who just eats and eats and eats and eats and eats, and that's the reason why you're overweight. There's so many people who calorie restrict. They have been on severe starvation and restriction diets, and once they start eating again, their body just holds on to everything, whether it's fluids, salt, everything, and they just gain a lot of weight. So to sit here and say that everybody who's overweight is just this big fat glutton who's just into uncontrollable eating, I think is false information that he's spreading. And, I'm not going to say who the person is that I listened to. And I was very offended by that, because I know that in order for me to get this size, I wasn't a huge glutton. I came from a place of a lot of starvation and diet pills and calorie restriction. And once I did start eating again, I did put on some weight and fluid. And I think it was due to all the history of calorie restriction and, starvation and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just want to come over here and just set the record straight and just put my 2 cents in. I don't agree with that. I think that's very rude and insensitive to say that someone is overweight because they're just a huge glutton. You don't know what each person has gone through to put that label on everybody. I know people who are really bone skinny and they eat and eat and eat. They're gluttons. But it's just in their DNA that they're not gaining any weight. Eventually they get clogged arteries and they start suffering with, cardiac issues, respiratory issues, and things of that nature. But they're just as skinny as possible. They're slim people. So, and they just eat huge amounts of food all the time. They're constantly eating. So, yeah, I thought that was really insensitive, and I thought it was just wrong information. I mean, we don't know each person's story and why they're in the situation they're in. And I think that we should start by being more compassionate towards the people who are having issues with their weight. It could be something emotional. It could be something traumatic that happened to them. We don't know. And to just assume these negative things that, oh, this person is a big glutton, I don't buy into that. There's always more to the iceberg. All we're seeing is the tip of the iceberg. There's always more. So anyway, if you guys have any thoughts about this subject, feel free to just leave them in the comments section and let me know what you feel about this situation. Because I definitely don't like it. I really dislike it. And I would pray that this particular YouTuber or influencer, fitness influencer, would really look into what he's saying and do some research on the topic, because it's just not true. All right, until the next time, everybody.